they triple the rates of injury and death in cardiac reoperations. Here we're showing examples of what these adhesions look like in the heart, large bowel, small bowel, and shoulder. The key here with the heart to take away is that the heart is fused to the left side of the chest and has to be carefully cut away from that adhesion or binding before they can do the additional reoperations. And this is what causes the permanent injury and death. This is an underserved and undervalued market that creates a large opportunity. The US adhesion market is worth over $10 billion. We're focusing on the cardiac segment, which is $2 billion because there's almost 1 million surgeries. Greater than 70% of these patients develop adhesions, greater than 20% are reops. And our initial market segments are children with congenital heart defects and adults with ventricular assist devices. These patients are the ones that receive the most operations and the highest frequency, and they'll allow us to transition and address the rest of these other markets. Our solution is very straightforward. It's spray paint for the heart. Tissue Shield is designed to fit into the surgical workflow, easily fit into surgeons' hands, and easily be sprayed over a beating heart in a dirty surgical field. Here we're showing the use of our clinical prototype in our porcine model, and you can see that it's easily sprayed directly over the heart. We've shown safety and efficacy in 3 different animal models in a recent publication in Nature Communications. We've shown that we prevent cellular attachment, cytocompatible, prevent those adhesions in those 3 animal models. And here's a histology image showing our product bound to the surface of the heart. We succeed where others have failed because we have superior properties. No other product addresses all of the failure modes of previous adhesion barriers. Here we're showing those properties on the left. We bind tissue, we're low swelling, fully synthetic, and long lifespan, for example. We're proven and protected. We have 3 patents with exclusive commercial licenses from UCLA and UCSD, and we're supported by 4 peer-reviewed publications. We have a successful team that has direct experience in this area. We're led by myself, CEO and co-founder, as well as surgeon entrepreneur Dr. Denaro from UVA and Professor Karen Chrisman from UCSD. Our current team has direct experience developing and translating these types of products. We have a clear regulatory path. Tomorrow, we're actually speaking to the FDA about our preclinical pre-sub meeting, as well as about our breakthrough device application, and a very straightforward path. And we have direct regulatory experience for people that have done this at the FDA for over 20+ years. So the point here is that surgeons want a solution. Here we're showing 2 quick quotes. Dr. Cohn, who's VP of J&J, said if this product was available, he'd be using it in his patients. Dr. Madani, who's a co-inventor, says a product like this would save the lives of numerous patients in his practice. Our business model is really straightforward. Our clinical success in children enables translation to adults. Our current product is projected to sell at $2,000 per kit, which is less than 2.2% the cost of CHD surgery, and this adhesion prevention will save the lives of patients. Here's our timeline to development. I'm already gone way over here, so I want to enable questions from the audience. So partner with us to protect the hearts of children and adults, and thank you for this opportunity.
Hey, great job, Greg. Fantastic presentation. And we got 3 minutes for Q&A, so nice job on that. Judges, I'm going to start with Anitha this time.
Thank you. So this is a problem that many of my patients experience. We have lots of adult patients who go through multiple reoperations, and adhesion are something that contributes quite a bit to their mortality and morbidity risk. So question for you, in the process of spraying the substance over the actual myocardium itself, what are sort of the long-term effects on the heart and the pericardial tissue, especially in using it in such a young population?
Yeah, so we've seen no impact. So across multiple time points from 2 to 8 weeks in these 3 animal models, we see that it's biocompatible, no foreign body response, and no chronic inflammation response. We're also biodegradable. So we're gone within 2 months, but if you need to go in before we're degraded, you can peel us off very easily. So the point is we're safe, biocompatible, and biodegradable, where the biodegradation products are excreted out through the urine. So our goal is to have no impact on the healing process. It's just to coat the tissue while that initial healing process is taking place.
Thank you.
All right, James.
So are the patents that you mentioned directed to the method or the device that applies it? I mean, you know, what that's going to cover, as you seem to have a number of competitors in this space.
Great question, and a different type of question. The patents are currently focused on the material and its composition. We're currently raising a seed round where we're going to be focused on new patents on the material, but also the delivery system that will be our own. We look at both of those as key areas to differentiate ourselves: delivery system and the material.
Excellent. Next question. Sally?
Yeah, thanks. So you talked a little bit about the biodegradation. How is that determined?
Yeah, so we've done that in vitro and also in vivo at various time points, and we can see that the product is degraded after 2 months. It degrades because of the oxime bond cross-linking is not permanent. Also, we have esters and carbamates present in our polymer architecture. So we engineered it to last 2 months, which is more than most products.
And you determine excretion through the urine. Did you look at any other areas of the body of the animals?
So that's what we're raising money for. This 150K would go towards a piglet study, which would be fantastic, which we've designed with our collaborators at Nationwide Children's and Children's National, for example, where we have advisors. The key is that we know the products are of the size that they'll be excreted out through the urine, and we want to take samples from other tissues in a rapidly growing piglet model, where we also look at foreign body blocking of adhesions, such as sutures and felt pledgets, for example. So I don't have enough time to talk about it, but I'd really love to share with you the piglet model and where this award would be really useful for us to work together on that question.
Thanks.
All right, time for one last question. Anyone else? Any follow-up? All right. Well, look, you did a really great job, Greg. So great job. We got, I think we got everything in. Again, watch this one evolve over time. Really terrific story, and I think you're going to make a huge impact. So thank you very much, Greg, and applause again for Greg. Thank you, Greg, from everybody. All right. Next up, we're going to have our third company here. So that will be Paracore, presented by Bradley Clark, Chief Medical Officer. So Bradley, if you are ready, take it away and I will reset our time here.
Thanks, Paul. So I'm Bradley Clark. I'm a pediatric electrophysiologist and I'm Chief Medical Officer of Paracore. So Paracore was founded in 2015 with the goal of creating minimally invasive solutions for children at risk for abnormal cardiac rhythms and the risk of sudden cardiac death. Currently, patients with abnormal cardiac rhythms require the standard of care is a cardiac ablation procedure. Our aim is to address issues with catheter stability. An ablation, which is demonstrated below with 3D mapping images, is performed by inserting catheters from outside the body and manipulating within the heart. Therapy is delivered from the catheter tip in order to provide a patient cure. Cardiac ablation is a robust and rapidly growing market with an estimated 880,000 procedures in 2021. The catheter device market is estimated currently at $1.7 billion. Ablations have a risk of severe complications, which include cardiac perforation and heart block, and as little as 1 to 2 millimeters can separate normal and abnormal tissue. So small movements could lead to great risk. Procedures are lengthy. They average 2 to 4 hours and can lead to an increased risk of operator fatigue. Heart block incidence is estimated at approximately 1% in adult patients, with a much higher risk in pediatric patients. But children are not just small adults. Greater than 5,000 ablations are performed in children annually, and the distance between vital structures is much smaller. The cost of a perforation is a potential mortality, and the cost of heart block includes a pacemaker implant, lifetime of follow-up, and a substantial financial burden. Our solution is PeriTorq. It's specifically designed for the pediatric space to prevent ablation complications. It's a soft cylindrical torque tool device for cardiac catheters. PeriTorq leads to enhanced torque, improved stability, and a decrease in operator fatigue. It fits catheters ranging in size from 3 to 9 French, which covers all ablations used in a typical ablation procedure. It can be used on multiple different catheters within the same procedure. In this video, you'll see PeriTorq in action. The PeriTorq device is placed onto the catheter and then locked into place. The operator then moves the catheter by manipulating the PeriTorq device with improved torqueability. After usage, the sled is pulled back, PeriTorq is removed, and it's ready for its next use. Ex vivo testing has demonstrated 1-to-1 torque transfer and the ability to sustain forces greater than used in a typical ablation procedure. Muscle and usability testing, which was recently presented at the AHA conference, demonstrated reduction in muscle activation, physical demand, effort and frustration, and increase in perceived performance. PeriTorq has a provisional patent that was filed in 2017 and a world patent which was filed in 2019. We were granted non-significant risk status by the FDA in 2020. A pre-submission meeting is currently scheduled with the FDA in early January with a plan for a Class 2 510K exempt classification. Grant funding has been already secured for in vivo animal studies, and the design of a clinical trial is currently underway. Our team consists of engineers and clinicians, including multiple key opinion leaders, and has experience of design and patents in this device space. Additional resources including product development, regulatory, and strategic consultants as well. I would like to thank everyone, especially MedTech, for their support and interest, and I hope that you will join us on our mission to improve the lives of the most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradley. Great job. Nice presentation. All right, judges, we've got 3.5 minutes for questions. Yes, Henry.
So maybe one question is regarding the cost. How much do you estimate the cost of each device? And these would be disposable?
Great question. Yeah, they would be single-use disposable devices. The estimated cost to the hospital, to the physician, would be $50. The average device, kind of the ablation catheter, costs about $3,600. The average cost of an ablation procedure is anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. So the additive cost of $50 is not too much on top, whether it's a physician request or whether we're able to bundle it into the bundle of the ablation procedure itself.
Okay. Maybe a follow-up would be regarding patent protection. There are similar devices already used to grip guide wires. So where do you stand on patent protection for this?
Exactly. So there's no active patent on that little TORQ device for the glide wire. So there's no active patents in the space. So we were able to do the provisional patent in 2017. So we are actually quite confident that we do have IP protection there, because there are, again, no active patents for those devices currently.
Thank you.
James?
Yeah, so just to follow up, have you thought about design patents for this? Because it seems like this might be an area where you could get protection as well.
Yes, we have thought about it. We haven't kind of moved forward. We're looking at obviously funding and animal testing, and have focused our energy there. But that's a great point that we would be able to add that in as well.
All right. Terry, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I was curious, some of those adverse events that can occur in these patients, can you directly attribute those to kind of having that poor control? And do you think that you can really demonstrate that a device like this improves those, or are there other aspects of the procedure that could lead to an adverse event?
So the catheters do require a lot of kind of manual pinching and twisting. They're small catheters. They range from 1.7 to 2.3 millimeters. So especially when we're dealing in the congenital space, especially with the adult congenital space, there's a lot of kind of hard and manual torquing. You have to hold kind of pressure and keep stability oftentimes for a minute, longer, things like that. So the stability is a really big deal. It also gets us to different places we may not be able to. And really, again, a lot of the times we're within millimeters of the AV node and the normal electrical system. So that enhanced stability, I think, really does have an impact on especially the incident of heart block and potential and perforation as well.
Time for another question. Any others? Anyone else? All right, great job, Bradley. Again, everyone, thank you. Nice work, Bradley. Terrific presentation. Again, watch the company evolved. You've really revolved. You've really done a great job. So thank you for all the hard work. In such an area of need. All right, next up, we've got Sibel, Steve Zhu. So CEO, Steve, if you want to go ahead and give us the presentation.
Thank you so much. My name is Steve Zhu. I'm a physician engineer, dermatologist by specialty, and really excited to be talking about Sibel, where I'm CEO and co-founder. And the problem we're trying to solve is pretty simple. Wires suck. They suck especially for kids. When it comes to it, they cause skin injuries, up to 43% of premature neonates. They obstruct skin-to-skin contact. They frustrate our nurses, and they complicate remote monitoring, where up to 15% of CHD patients are readmitted within 30 days of discharge. And our parents tell us the same thing. They all resolutely believe that skin-to-skin contact is critical, and they all endorse the fact that the wires are the #1 causes that intimidate and prevent this really important mode of contact. So what Sibel has developed is the world's first ICU-grade wireless wearable monitoring system designed for the unique anatomical and physiological needs of critically ill neonates and infants. We not only replace 1 or 2 vital signs, we essentially do them all with issued granted patents worldwide. We are focused on children, both in the hospital and home, with extensive experience from premature infants to patients with congenital heart defects. The ability for our system to collect rich streams of electrocardiography, seismocardiography, heart sounds, and pulse wave velocity enables us to do all the vital signs, but then also capture important information that is even hidden by existing wired systems today. These are examples of congenital heart defect patients that we have monitored in the intraoperative setting. Even in atypical locations, we're able to capture beautiful waveforms, recapitulating ICU-grade wearable systems. Here, example of our data streaming wirelessly from an individual patient, 37 weeks with a congenital heart defect. But beyond traditional vital signs like heart rate, pulse oximetry, respiratory rate, and temperature at 2 different locations, we go beyond. Our ability to also connect these 2 sensors wirelessly allow us to provide surrogate markers of advanced vital signs, such as continuous blood pressure with less than 10 millimeter mercury accuracy compared to arterial lines. We've continued to publish and demonstrate thought leadership in this space with manuscripts in Science, Nature Medicine, and The Lancet. We believe that wireless sensing is going to drive adoption across the entire medical ecosystem, starting with children. Furthermore, our sensors offer a 50% lower cost per monitoring per day to hospitals, representing not only a benefit clinically, but a better ROI. We further think that not only in the hospital, but in the home, there are broader opportunities for congenital heart defect monitoring in the home, where there are even less solutions. We've launched in more than 24 countries. We've monitored more than 10,000 patients worldwide and have partnerships with some of the leading philanthropies, medical technology companies, and pharmaceutical companies in the world. But our product roadmap expands beyond hospital monitoring into RPM, clinical trials, and sleep. But we see a future where we'll continue to disrupt medical monitoring. Wireless, soft, flexible electronics specifically for children, extending beyond vital signs to include Doppler, EEG, NIRS, to take care of congenital heart defects in every context that they need. We have a dedicated world-class team, including technical experts that are considered the father of flexible electronics, the former chief investment officer of Geico, a proven technology that is FDA cleared already in adults, with a neonatal indication being sought Q1 of next year, existing partnerships with large MedTech and payers for both RPM and hospital, and future funding where we've successfully completed a Series A, with existing investors interested in joining us in a Series B that we are actively raising now. This is the future we envision, one without wires, one that can take care of a congenital heart defect patient from both the hospital to the OR to the home. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Great presentation. We got 3 minutes left for questions. So judges, whenever you're ready, who wants to go first? All right, Anitha.
Thanks so much. That was a great presentation. I can definitely see the utility of this, not just in the pediatric space, but certainly in the adult space as well, too. You mentioned the expansion of this beyond just, the hospital setting, and especially now with our ever-growing telemedicine practice. How do you sort of envision using this device in the care of patients remotely, being able to do telemedicine, and how to sort of integrate that information into our visits?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with, it's publicly announced, we work with Anthem, the second largest payer in the United States. So we essentially will complete Epic integration by January of next year, allowing our data to go from the sensor to a mobile app that your parents, your doctors can download, so bring your own device. That gets pushed to our HIPAA compliant, high trust certified cloud that then integrates with Epic. So we know that physicians, a physician myself, I use Epic, it's got to be in the EHR. So that's pushed seamlessly through, enabling alerts, alarms set by you, and then integrated within the EHR to also support things like billing, as there's new CMS codes for that as well.
That's amazing. Thank you.
All right, next question, Terry.
Yeah, thanks for the great presentation. Can you speak a little bit about where you are with patents? What is protectable in this, whether it's the patch or the algorithm, or how you incorporate the data together?
Yeah, so we have both European, United States, Chinese, and Japanese patents. Foundationally, what is our secret sauce is the soft, flexible mechanics. So it's the foundational device itself. Some of our algorithms we keep as trade secrets, but our blood pressure algorithm is actually patented and then published as well. So it covers the entire thing plus a medical ecosystem. We've already integrated with one major medical monitoring company. We'll have a second one very soon. So that data can be streamed to legacy monitors, not just our tablets. And that's covered in our IP as a medical infrastructure, medical ecosystem. So it's pretty broad, and we've sort of focused on that ability to go from the sensor all the way up to the system. A great question.
Thank you.
All right, Henry.
You described cost savings of using this device over existing wires. Can you explain how that works and how that compares?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at like the per day per use costs, you've got disposables, right? ECG patches, pulse oximeters, blood pressure cuffs, temperature probes. Those things can average $30 to $60 per day if you need those vital signs monitoring. Our sensors are rechargeable and reusable for a single patient. So you can actually use it. It has about 5 days battery life. So you basically can take it off, recharge it, put it back on. And when you look at the ultimate cost of our device compared to a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week emission, we'd actually be able to save hospitals more than 50% on just the consumable costs alone. So they don't need to necessarily buy our tablet, et cetera. What they're really paying for is a much lower variable cost per day since our sensors are rechargeable, reusable. We are working on a disposable version. That's really more for like cleaning and these kind of things, but that sort of rechargeable capability allows us to be both cost effective in the hospital, but also for RPM.
Thank you.
All right, great. So terrific job, Steve. Really nice presentation. I agree with the comment in the chat where they really liked your last slide showing where we are today and where we're going in the future. So great vision, and really appreciate the presentation and all your work here in the space. All right, so we got one more presentation, and that's going to be from Starlight Cardiovascular, Bev Tang, CEO. So Bev, if you want to queue up your slides, we're ready to go when you are.
Can you see in here? All right. Hi, I'm Bev Tang, co-founder and CEO of Starlight Cardiovascular. We're a San Diego-based startup that was founded in 2020, and I'm really excited to be here today. So I just wanted to thank NCC-PDI and MedTech Innovator for this opportunity. At Starlight, we've brought together an incredibly experienced and motivated team that's dedicated to solving unmet needs for children born with congenital heart disease. We've also put together a great network of partners, including an engaged MAB of both pediatric surgeons and interventional cardiologists. So imagine that you've just welcomed a new baby into your family, but within a day, she starts to turn blue due to lack of oxygen. She's part of the 1% of babies that are born each year with a congenital heart defect. You're told that your newborn needs an emergency procedure to survive. The two options are open chest surgery to sew in a shunt, or a catheter-based procedure where a stent is placed to open a naturally occurring conduit called the ductus arteriosus. Most parents and clinicians would choose the catheter procedure. However, there are no stents approved for ductal stenting, and there are many problems with the off-label use of coronary stents in the ductus, which can have a reported 47% reintervention rate. Not surprisingly, the delivery systems can be too large for newborn anatomy. Complex anatomy makes length measurements under 2D fluoroscopy difficult, often leading to choosing the wrong stent size or double or triple stenting. And tortuous anatomy prevents stiff balloon-mounted systems from navigating around the bends of the ductus. In contrast, Starlight's self-expanding Lifeline stent is designed specifically for the ductal stenting procedure and offers a number of benefits. The small microcatheter delivery system reduces vasospasm risk and allows for much smoother navigation of tortuous ducts compared to balloon-mounted systems. The flange design prevents migration and provides end-to-end vessel coverage. And finally, the stent balances conformability and radial force. Starlight recognized early on that it will require a toolkit of devices to treat congenital heart disease, so we're developing multiple devices that bring value to the healthcare system by increasing access to care, moving procedures toward less invasive approaches, and decreasing costly morbidity and mortality. The Lifeline stent's value proposition is a $22,000 cost savings between stenting and shunting, with a very high gross margin device for a life-saving procedure that is highly reimbursed. Starlight's portfolio approach increases business sustainability and takes advantage of a consolidated customer base. We've made some exciting progress this past year, including receiving a SBIR Phase 1 grant for the development of the Lifeline stent, getting hands-on physician feedback, having our first QSub meeting, and completing our first acute animal study, which demonstrated proof of concept. We're gearing up for a Series A fundraise, which will take us through our next major milestones, including a GLP animal study, B&B testing, and an early feasibility study. We hope you will support our efforts in helping to heal little hearts. Thanks for your attention.
Nice job, Bev. All right. So, judges, questions for Bev. All right, who wants to go first?
So Bev, as a pediatric interventional cardiologist, I do these procedures a lot, and the current technology is certainly challenging. Do you foresee having to provide a broad range of different devices, lengths and diameters? And how do you think the cost will figure out compared to existing coronary type stents that we're using?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So yes, we will obviously have to provide a number of stent sizes and lengths, just like what you have today with the coronary stents. However, I think that we're able to probably offer better end-to-end coverage due to our flange design. And so our hope is that we will actually have fewer SKUs than you might potentially need with, trying to cover all of the potential ductus sizes and the ductal anatomies. In terms of pricing, we're doing some market research and pricing studies now. There is quite a bit of cost savings that we can fit into this business model based on the difference between stenting and surgical shunting. And I think we'll take advantage of the fact that we will be the only FDA-approved device for this. Obviously, everything that you use right now is being used off-label.
Very true.
All right, next. Who wants to go next? James.
Can you talk a little bit more about, you talked about it's a portfolio approach. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the ductal stenting device is only the first device in our portfolio. We basically started with a clinical needs assessment, looking at 50 unmet clinical needs, and used the Stanford Biodesign Innovation approach to narrow down those needs. So we have a portfolio right now of 3 devices that we're developing. This device, another device that is a pulmonary flow restrictor for mostly for hypoplastic left heart syndrome, and then a third device as well, all of them for different congenital heart defects. We know that, to Dr. Justino's point, there's no one device that is going to solve all of congenital heart disease. And so we are trying to offer a toolkit of devices. And this also obviously offers some business sustainability in the pediatric space.
All right, next question. Who wants to go next? Got time for another one for sure.
In your animal studies, Bev, do you plan on looking at how a surgeon might have to deal with a stented ductus arteriosus at the next stage? Because these children have multiple operations, and this is the first step. And so beyond the placement, we want to know how this would impact the later surgeries.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And actually, in our very first study that we just completed last week at Boston Children's Hospital, we had Dr. Del Nido ligate the stents and confirm that there was no flow on Doppler. And so these stents are very ligatable and should have no problem in the next stage, and should also be removable if that's the choice of the surgeon.
Wonderful. That's important. Thank you.
All right, that's all the time we have, Bev. Great presentation, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice work at Starlight. Yeah, no, terrific technology. And again, a company that we've had our eyes on for a long time. We've really seen your progress, and it's been tremendous. So congratulations to you and to Mark as well. So thank you for that, Bev. All right, so those are our 5 presentations. Everyone out there who's watching here on the Zoom webinar, we appreciate your being here. What we're going to do now is we're going to move to deliberation. And what that means is our judges are going to all drop off. They're going to go into a separate Zoom that you can't see. And we're going to go ahead and have those judges deliberate. We're going to come back here in I think it's 20 minutes. or so. Is that right? 30 minutes, 20 minutes? And let me check the schedule, make sure I'm right on that. We're going
It's going to be at 4:20 Eastern.
Thank you very much, Brian. So 4:20 Eastern, we'll be back here to announce who the winners are. Oh, very good. Thank you. Good timing. So for those of you who are watching, go take a break, come back at 4:20. Don't disappear entirely, and you'll hear who the winners are. Brian Benson, who you just saw, will be taking the lead on the deliberation with the judges and also announcing the winner along with Kalale. So great presentations, everyone, and we'll see you back here in 30 minutes. Thank you all. And for those of you who are out there watching on Zoom, if you want to put comments into the chat, as many people are doing, please go ahead and do that. Our panelists are still here too, and they'll see those comments or questions, or if you want to reach out to somebody and offer your email address, and if you've got a resource you want to offer, that's what this is all about. Isn't just about the funding opportunity, but also connecting the ecosystem and people out there with these companies. So again, if you have something that you'd like to comment or to reach out to one of these companies, please put your information into the chat, and they'll be able to reach out to you. Thanks, guys. I'll be back soon.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to jump in really quick and let everyone know that our judges are still deliberating. So we need a few more minutes, but we should be wrapping up shortly. So hang tight. We will be back shortly to make the announcement of the winners. Hi, everybody. Just checking in again. Just wanted to let you know that our judges are having a great conversation. And obviously, you can imagine it's a tough debate on who wins today or who the winners are today. But I think they're wrapping up. So we should be ready for an announcement shortly. Hang tight. All right, looks like our judges have reached a conclusion. So if everybody wants to turn back on their speakers and listen in, we're getting ready to announce it. Our panelists or our pitch companies today, you guys can turn on your cameras. Our judges coming back in to join us, and Brian Benson from my team will be taking over hosting. So he will share the announcement of the winners in just a moment.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for your patience. The deliberation process took a little bit longer than expected, which for the companies is a good thing. Your presentations were incredible. Your technologies are very compelling, and the needs that they are addressing is really something that we took into consideration during the deliberation, and how the funding and NCC-PDI can support you in your efforts to bring these much needed solutions to patients in the pediatric space and beyond. Obviously, some of you have bigger visions in addition to the ped space. So I wanted to give Kalali the opportunity to make a comment before I announce the prizes for our final decision on the awards for the NCC-PDI and MedTech Innovator Pediatric Accelerator competition.
Thank you, Brian. Congratulations to all companies. All the presentations were fantastic, and so proud that there's so much enthusiasm around developing pediatric medical devices. So we are doing something very different this time because we were so impressed with all of the presentations. And so I just want to tell you all congratulations. And the National Capital Consortium for Pediatric Device Innovation, which is a partnership between Children's National and University of Maryland, Fischel Institute for Biomedical Devices, is committed. So this consortium is committed to working with all of you for your regulatory pathway that you will be going through, as well as clinical validation. So we will stay in touch, and we would love to work with all 5 companies moving forward. So now back to Brian.
Thank you, Kalali. So with that, I wanted to say the component that Kalali mentioned, which we've never done before, is actually award prizes to all of the companies. It was so hard to make a decision on which company shouldn't receive support from this innovation resource that we took it upon ourselves to break the mold and offer a prize to all of the 5 companies today. So firstly, congratulations to everyone. It was, as I mentioned, not an easy task for us to make this decision, and not something we've ever done before. So as Kalali mentioned, we really tried to take that into consideration. So congratulations to Pericore, Starlight, InkSpace, Karios, and Sibel. With that, I wanted to jump into the specific award amounts for each of the companies. So for Starlight, we are awarding $40,000 of the $150,000. So congratulations, great job. I wanted to offer give the company, yeah, there we go, an opportunity to say any closing remarks as an awardee. If you have anything to say, Beverly, if you wanted to make a statement, I wanted to give you the chance to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. This is an amazing award, and I'm really honored. This is great. So I want to thank you so much, and thanks to MedTech Innovator for their support and mentorship over the last few months. Obviously, you've helped us to get so much better. So thank you. We really appreciate it.
Congrats again, and hopefully you'll be able to put that to good work. I know you will. That's why we chose you for that. And the next company we'll talk about specifically is InkSpace. So again, congrats. And our decision was to offer you $40,000 is the prize. So congrats again. And I wanted to give you the chance as well to comment.
Thank you very much. I mean, for giving us a chance to be in that group and receive the prize. And thank you for both the trust in us and the recognition, obviously. I'm very honored. I can see that must have been very difficult for the judges. Tough competition in the field. But I would like to close with, I hope that we will all bring our technology to use into pediatric hospitals and beyond to make something out of that. And as I said earlier, so for us, it has been the credibility of the MedTech Innovator in this consortium has been already very helpful. And winning a prize will also be beneficial for us for the future fundraising rounds. Thank you.
So again, congrats. We'll move on to the next company, which will be Sibel. And so Sibel is going to receive 27.5 with the dividing. So congrats again. And based on kind of all the judge deliberation, this is kind of how we rendered some of the award amounts. So congratulations. And I wanted to give you the chance to comment as well.
Well, I just want to thank everyone. I mean, I think pediatric devices is such an important area of unmet need, and it's just great to see like-minded people. Excuse me, I'm getting a phone call. And it's really, truly an honor, and just to be a part of this cohort and this group, it's wonderful. And I'm sure the alumni network, and after that, we're really excited to be part of this. So thank you so much.
Steve, that is a really great point, and something that I think has really benefited our companies in the long term is really, there's not enough money. We never can have enough. There's no company, no program, accelerator that can give a company enough money to really close the deal. But what we do have is that ongoing relationship and the support for the companies in the continuum to keep growing and get to that next phase. So we do see this as a family, MedTech Innovator, and all of our cohort programs. So we definitely encourage that and see if there's anything that we can do moving forward. We're always here to help. So thank you for mentioning that. So Karios is the other split with that. And so that is a 27.5. I think we have, I think they just, maybe I missed it. All right, are they still here? Maybe they popped off. And then our last,
no.
oh,
I mean, yeah, thanks.
Oh, so
thanks,
Greg.
Brian. Yeah,
There, I
no. I mean, this MTI experience and this competition have been a huge light for us in fundraising and everything. So we're so grateful, Brian, to you, to Paul, to everybody at MTI and all the other groups, you know, Bev, Peter, you know, Steve, watching you guys grow and talking with you guys. So just thanks for the support. Hugh, really, really, really appreciate it. And I'll stop and let you guys keep going, but just thanks.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah. And our last company is Pericardial with $15,000. So again, it was a challenge to try to do this, and we wanted to make sure that every company was recognized because of the strength, not because we were lazy, but it was a really difficult challenge and something that we've never done before. And after all the hard work that every company has done to get even to the finals is so impressive for us, and all of our judges with VC judges on the panel really thought that this amount of money can help move each of the companies to that next value inflection point. So we're hopeful that that it will, and we're really looking forward to keeping you going on your journey and really getting these products to the market. So again, congratulations to all the presenters. You did all the hard work. Your companies are on track to do something that hopefully will change patient lives around the world. So thank you so much for that. And any last minute comments from the companies? Otherwise, I just wanted to comment about MedTech Innovator's 2022 application cycle is open. So if you are a MedTech Innovator looking to grow your technology to the next level and integrate into the world's largest ecosystem of innovators, this is a place to do that. As you can see, some of the companies in our pediatric focus track already are doing well on their way. But if you are interested, the applications are open on the medtechinnovator.org website. And we're looking forward to a new year with some exciting companies to support throughout our program. All right, with that, thank you. Thank you again, companies, judges, and everybody viewing on the live stream. Kalali, do you have any closing remarks? Otherwise, we'll say goodbye.
No, thank you so much to the fantastic MedTech Innovator team, Brian, Paul, Catherine, Jerry, and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes, happy holidays, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.